Hey, if you want to
Yeah.
hang around, we're actually going to talk to AAA
Yeah.
right now. So
Let's
stick
do
around,
it.
Rachel, if you have any questions for them. Montrae Waiters, great to be with you. Good morning. She's a spokeswoman for AAA. We love having her on the show. Wealth of knowledge when it comes to preparing for weekends like this. Montrae, so set the scene for us. What are some of the biggest dangers us drivers face as we head into what could be an ice storm?
Well, let me give you an overview. So, winter weather catches a lot of drivers off guard, of course, especially here in Georgia. So, every year, icy roads lead to more than over 1,000 injuries. So, it's a serious problem. The good news is there's a lot we can do to stay safe. So, I heard your colleagues say, stay home if you can. So, stay home unless you truly need to go out, because what we found is even skilled drivers can face dangerous conditions. So avoiding any unnecessary trips is really the safest for everyone. Making sure that if you have to go out, a car needs to be prepared for that winter travel. So here are 5 key things that we recommend. Making sure that your tires are in good working condition. So make sure you have good tread and proper tire pressure. And the biggest thing, which is why we find most drivers stranded on the side of the road, is making sure that your battery is in good working condition. Cold weather can drain batteries fast. So making sure that battery is in tip top shape before you head out in the elements. Making sure your fluids are ready to go. So use winter grade washer fluid and check your antifreeze. That is very, very important. When you're out there in the elements too, it's very important to make sure to use your wipers and your defroster, especially if you're stranded on the side of the road. You want to make sure you have that defroster on, and you also want to make sure that you can see clearly on the roads, right, while you're driving. Your brakes and lights need to be working. And you know what? One thing that people a lot of times don't think about, making sure you have a full tank of gas or at least a half tank of gas. Because what happens is if you're stranded on the side of the road, you're going to have to run the car for heat, right? And we recommend you running the car every 10 minutes, starting the car up and, getting that heat going. Imagine if you don't have the gas and the car turns out, and then we're looking at an entirely different situation. So those are definitely the 5 key things to think about.
Montrae, if for some reason you do get stranded this weekend, can you give us some do's and don'ts while you're stuck in your car?
Well, the first thing is staying calm, right? So, and making sure that you stay inside the vehicle unless it's unsafe to do so. So, while you're in that vehicle, make sure you turn on your hazard lights. We want folks to be able to see you on the side of the road, especially for those tow truck drivers or emergencies folks that need to get out and find you, right? Call for help. Also, share your GPS location with friends before going out or family members, right? Just in case you are stranded on the side of the road, we know your location, or they know your location and can assist. Make sure you, like I talked earlier, run the engine only about 10 minutes each hour for warmth. Crack your window a little bit for ventilation. And hopefully before you went out in the elements, your clothing, you were in layered, and make sure you have, we talk about a safety kit. So making sure your phone is fully charged, have some blankets, some water. And, another thing that folks don't think about too, is making sure you have your medicine in your kit for your car as well. If your car stalls, also in traffic, stay inside with the doors locked and call for help, like we stated early. Again, unless staying in the vehicle puts you in danger, like if you're on a blind curve, then move to a safe spot away from the roadways. It's all about making sure that we stay safe in the elements.
And Montrae, this is Rachel Coxrose, morning traffic anchor here. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good
I
morning.
wanted to also ask, if you are stranded, is AAA an option this weekend? Are you all going to be out assisting drivers?
Absolutely. So AAA is an option for members as well if they're out there stranded on the roadway. So you definitely can call us. And again, the best advice going back to what we stated earlier, is if you don't have to be out, it's going to be, we're expecting this weather this weekend. If you do not have to be out, folks, it's just very important to just make sure that you stay home. Because again, if you are stranded and you do need AAA to come get you, depending on how bad that storm is at the time, you have to keep in mind too that yes, AAA are professionals and we will come rescue you, but they also have to watch out the drivers for dangerous conditions as well.
Thank you to your drivers for all they do during these dangerous conditions. I actually had to call AAA on the way home from my honeymoon years ago.
No.
We got stranded on the side of the road, and we actually, I can't remember the detail. Did we not have a spare tire in the trunk? I just remember having to take the wedding dress out of the trunk.
Oh, no.
Waiting on AAA to respond. So anyway, just a little aside. My AAA story there. Hey, look, I have a question about.
People to rescue you.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question about electric vehicles. They are becoming more and more common. And I think back to a terrible snowstorm in Virginia a few years ago in your neck of the woods, Rachel, where drivers were stranded for hours. And there was this debate over, well, were you luckier to be in a gas vehicle versus an EV? Any advice to EV drivers out there as they prepare for this?
Absolutely. So cold temperatures can reduce an EV range by up to 40%. So that's a lot, right? So here's what we recommend. Precondition the battery while the car is still plugged in. So keep the vehicle plugged in overnight when possible. Make sure you charge more often in winter weather, and use heated seats and the heated steering wheel instead of blasting the cabin heat, because it saves a lot of energy, especially if you're stranded, when you use the heated seats and steering wheel versus blasting the heat. So again, folks, it's all about making sure you prepare prior to heading out in the elements.
And just one more question for you. So if, obviously we don't want people out there, but for those who are, what kind of driving behaviors work best? One thing that I mentioned earlier, you don't want to be braking suddenly, I imagine.
It's all about slow and steady, and also making sure that you give room for the cars that are in front of you as well. Because unfortunately, even though we have some folks out there that we know are going to not follow the tips, so to speak, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough room and you're able to react to what happens. Because again, folks, icy roads are very, very dangerous, and one of the top reasons why we have to rescue folks, stranded on the side of the road, because it's icy road. They're driving fast. They get nervous about driving in snow and ice, and they want to get to their locations quickly. But it really is about slow, steady, and not driving distracted.
Montrae Waiters, we'll leave it there. Spokeswoman for AAA, thank you for your time this morning.